Anxiety makes you hyper aware of everything that could go wrong. Most advice tells you to just calm down or let it go. But actually, your anxiety can be transformed into a superpower for living with extraordinary intention. Living with intention starts with figuring out what truly matters to you. When you have anxiety, your mind is constantly scanning for threats. But what if you redirected that awareness toward your core values instead? Values like connection, creativity, or health become your internal compass, helping you navigate decisions even when anxiety kicks in. Mindfulness helps you notice your anxious thoughts without getting swept away by them. Instead of fighting your feelings, you're creating space to make choices that align with who you want to be, not just reactions to what you fear. And here's where anxiety gives you an edge. You're already hyper aware. Now you're just shifting what you pay attention to. Taking small, consistent actions toward your goals doesn't mean waiting until you feel brave. It means bringing your anxiety along for the ride. Imagine anxiety sitting in the passenger seat while you remain in control of the steering wheel. The secret isn't eliminating those nervous feelings, but acknowledging them while still moving forward. Research shows this approach, called acceptance and commitment therapy, helps people create meaningful lives even with anxiety. Instead of letting fear drive your career choices or relationships, you can intentionally design environments that play to your strengths. Your anxiety might even help you notice important details others miss, turning what feels like a weakness into a unique advantage. Living intentionally gives you back a sense of control that anxiety often steals. It's about making deliberate choices that reflect your values rather than just reacting to worries. This shift in perspective doesn't make anxiety disappear, but it transforms it from an obstacle into a resource you can work with. By focusing on what matters most to you, anxiety becomes just one part of your experience, not the whole story. The most anxious minds often become the most intentional once they learn to redirect that energy. What would your life look like if you used your anxiety as fuel instead of fighting it? This is also where hypnotherapy can play a powerful role in reshaping how anxiety shows up in your life. Unlike surface level strategies that ask you to just think positively, hypnotherapy works with your subconscious patterns, the deeply ingrained habits of thought and emotion that often drive anxiety without you realizing it. In a hypnotherapy session, you're guided into a calm, focused state that allows your mind to access the root of your anxious patterns without judgment or fear. You're not unconscious or out of control. You're actually more in tune with yourself than usual. Here, instead of being overwhelmed by racing thoughts, your mind becomes receptive to new suggestions, ones that reinforce calm, confidence, and clarity. Hypnotherapy helps interrupt the mental loops that say, "I'm not safe," or "I'm going to fail," and replaces them with intentional beliefs aligned with who you want to become. It's like updating your internal operating system to match your values. Let's say your anxiety always spikes before social situations. In hypnotherapy, we can trace that response back to its emotional root, maybe a memory of being judged, excluded, or embarrassed. Once you understand where that feeling comes from, you can begin rewriting the narrative. Instead of reacting to old pain, you can choose presence, ease, and self-trust. And the best part? These changes don't require conscious willpower 24/7. Because hypnotherapy works on a subconscious level, the shift starts to feel natural. You don't have to force calm anymore. It starts to emerge from within. Combined with intention setting, hypnotherapy helps you train your attention on what matters most. You stop fighting your brain and start working with it. This isn't about erasing anxiety. It's about dissolving the fear around it. When anxiety no longer feels like a threat, you're free to take action from a place of clarity instead of panic. Living with intention becomes less about discipline and more about alignment. You begin designing your life not around anxiety, but around purpose. And when that shift happens, anxiety becomes less of an enemy and more of a signal, a signpost, a moment to pause and ask, what do I need right now to feel safe, clear, and connected. That's the power of combining intention with hypnotherapy. You stop managing anxiety, you start transforming with it. So the next time anxiety shows up, instead of pushing it away, try asking it what it's trying to protect. Then give yourself what you actually need. That's not fixing, that's understanding, and it changes everything.